one job, and everything is gonna be okay.
So we brought the frame rack inside. We brought the gantry inside. The gantry can set the engine in and set it to height. And then the frame rack, we can build the frame off of that. We also have a laser level, so we can measure everything out. And it, let's see if I can show you kind of, yeah. So it'll show us a line on our frame here, so we can make sure that we're straight with everything. Also, it'll do the horizontal line down the middle. So that's kind of how we're leveling it out. So we use this to level out the frame rack, and then we started setting up the frame. Jared's been doing all the work on this. He built these two rear rails. So the rear rails, we got just a miscellaneous bumper here in the truck, but rear rails we had to cut, you know, and piece together. So then we did the Fisher plates, and mostly where they're cut, there is one of these circles that you know, the cross of the weld comes through here, and then that can be welded top and bottom. But you know, the front cross member was put together. That's a TCI cross member. I think they call it, I want to say they call it their Pro Touring. And then these, what would you call it, kind of the Z notch or the step up, those pieces were determined by what we wanted our ride height to be. So we mocked up a tire on the front, we have the body on there, all that mock up that we were showing earlier. Now those are the cuts on this top here are angled to where we could flare out the rails here. And then we have our second cut here, which straightens the rail back out, and that straightens out before it starts to go into the rear here. The rear is going to cut in somewhere in here, but we're not exactly sure quite yet on where the level is on that rear. It's kind of hard to figure it all out because, you know, we're setting the frame up different than factory. The rear rail is kind of the shape of the factory one minus the notch, and the width of the frame is pretty factory, but the hike up in the front is a lot different because of the way how different the front suspension is, plus the level that we want the car at, which is a lot lower than factory. But the one thing we did want to make sure we did was these rails here, our middle section is at the bottom of the rocker pinch weld. So if this car does come in contact with the ground, which they usually do, it can slide on those frame rails and not get into the body. But how are we going to figure out that last measurement? One thing we can do is we can cut a hole in the floor so we can actually set this rail in there and set our rail back underneath there. What we're having trouble figuring out is the actual height of the back here. We know our rail's correct. It's kind of like we're fitting the front. Our front we know is correct, we just have to fit it in the correct position. The rear we know is correct, we just have to fit it in the right position.
I'm pretty sure we're pretty close here. It looks, it might go back another 1/4 inch, but I think height wise we're pretty close. Might go back 1/4 and up 1/4.
The few things that we are changing here is they did have a body mount here, and since we have this notch, we're going to put the body mount here, and then we have a body mount here. We are using a little bit more of an updated body mount than the factory ones, just for lack of rattles and whatnot. See if we can make it a little bit more comfortable ride. It's coming along. I mean, when you have these pieces starting, you're trying to figure out, you know, where in time and place they sit. The real nice one was that the center line that laser can do. So we're able to do that center line, and we can line it up with the center of our cross member, line it up with the center of the frame rack, and then we can measure side off the middle to our edges going down. So that way it's easier to keep the frame straight here. Basically all we have is one more cut on each rail and setting those rear rails, and that's pretty much the hard part about this. The part where you not the hard part, but the part where you actually have to figure it out. The rest of it will be mostly just, you know, here's where the trans mount is, now we need to attach it. Here's where the motor goes, now we need to make the mounts. The rear differential is a little bit interesting because you got to make your 4-link, and you're trying to figure out how to triangulate it, or do a 4-bar and a panhard bar, or whatever we end up doing back there, where you end up setting your coilovers. And it all has to deal with the performance and ride quality of the vehicle, and simplifying it. You know, there's some things that you can use that make it more complicated but more interesting, but there's ways to make it simpler and just work.
Serviceability, that's what I like.
Yeah, serviceability, and when you're dealing with something with so little of travel, you know, we don't, with the coilovers on a suspension like this, you're talking about 3 inches of travel or something like that. Actual travel when it's driving is very minimal. So things like watts, links, I just don't see being anything that's something that you can use. So if we can just get these 4 bars triangulated enough to where the rear end doesn't rock back and forth, that's what we're going to call good. If we have to put a panhard bar on it, we will. But I don't like things to be overly complicated just in the sake of being complicated. When you start to get into the big lifts and stuff, I think there's more room for innovation. But in something like this, it seems like simple's just best. Trying to keep the suspension under the floor. I hate it when cars have shit coming through the floors. Like, you know, there's a lot, I've seen stuff where the suspension is made to where it's coming into the seat area to where they couldn't put a back seat in a 4-door, you know? And that's just ridiculous to me. I mean, yeah, building frames are fun, and doing a crazy 4-link cantilever watts link stuff is rad. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying when you're starting to do stuff and it's starting to create this over complexity to where you're losing a rear seat, or it makes it a real pain in the ass to get an exhaust through, or, you know, whatever, it just, I think you're kind of losing the point. On something like this, we're looking for it to handle, and that's what we need to do. It needs to handle extremely well. We're gonna have a lot of power, and so my main concern is handling. I want it to handle good. I'm not so concerned about how it does on the drag strip, you know, or how well it hooks, you know. That's almost a side deal compared to how it will corner. Of course, whatever we can get of the best of all worlds, well, that's what we'll do. But our priorities with this car is simple handles. So we're gonna go with what we can go with on that. Also comfort. I don't want to make a bunch of rattly Heim joints, you know. If we need to use Heim joints, we'll use them. But if we can get away with Johnny joints or something like that, that's what we're gonna do. So we'll just have to see. So a work in progress, and nothing's set in stone yet. So we'll just start getting these rails done, and then we'll start building some cross members. And it ought to be really cool. We got a bunch of these Fisher plates that go all the way down the frame. So, I mean, you can park a Sherman tank on that thing, I swear to God. Look at that. Weld on top and bottom, and the like kind of a gusset hole. I mean, that's some solid shit right there.
And it's still straight.
And it's still straight, which is a very hard thing to do with all that weld.
I calculated out between the two rear sections, there's 72 linear feet of weld.
At one little loop a time. Pretty cool stuff.
All it takes is one job, oh yeah. All it takes is one job, and everything is gonna be okay.